What if I told you there is a wrestling conspiracy theory out there that is true and no one talks about it? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Before we discuss that, make sure to subscribe to the page and hit that famouser on that like button because we're talking about Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn, and how his main event push in 1999 was sabotaged by the locker room and politics. I am extremely excited about this theory because I'm the one who came up with it and I believe it's 100% true. Look, recently, Bruce Pritchard said that The Rock didn't want to work the program with Billy Gunn. Also, rumors said Stone Cold didn't want to work with him either. When your two biggest stars, and possibly the two biggest stars of all time, are telling people, hey, I don't want to work with him, I'm not giving him the cosign, that's hurting your chances. It's pretty much a nail in the coffin of your push. But even more so, The Rock's like, here's the nail, and Austin's like, give me the hammer, I'll hammer that son of a bitch in there. Billy Gunn is dead. On arrival. Now, why could this be? Why would these two not want to work with him? Well, keep in mind, the Attitude Era was highly competitive. It's the height of wrestling. Like, that was the height of moving the needle. And Billy is entering the main event scene. He wasn't in it. And they're like, hey, we're going to let him win King of the Ring. We're going to put him in the main event scene. And these guys are like, fuck that. It's another mouth to feed with limitless potential. They don't know what he's capable of because he's entering the main event scene. Like, no one knew The Rock was going to be that big. No one knew Austin was going to be that big. They get their main event push, and holy fuck, the crowd's over on him. So those guys don't know what he's capable of. Now, why they would be scared of it. Great finisher. His finisher was already better than Mick Foley's dumbass mandible claw or Mr. Sacco. It's almost, you could argue that it's better than the rock bottom. It's better than Kane's choke slam, Undertaker's choke slam, Big Show's choke slam, played out shit. He's an example of the Friday Night Lights quote, blonde hair, blue eyes, always get over. So, like, he's going to take publicity. All the women are going to want to hang out with him, be with him. Men are going to want to hang out with him. He's going to get the interview time on TRL, Access Hollywood, ET, etc., etc. They're going to be like, hey, can we get that Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass guy? Wrestling merch is at an all-time high right now. And Billy Gunn's outfit, wrestling attire, is the fucking 90s. Like, that's 90s attire. That's going to get over. His Mr. Ass gimmick, that goes perfect with the counterculture at that time, the fashion at that time of, oh, you don't want me to wear a shirt that says suck it? I'm going to wear it. Oh, I'm going to wear this shirt that says Mr. Ass. The kids at school are going to want to wear that so they can get kicked out of school and like, oh, I got kicked out of school today because my shirt said ass. Now The Rock and Austin and them are like, fuck, this guy's going to start selling T-shirts on us. If they buy his T-shirt, they can't buy our T-shirt. And the fact that your two biggest stars didn't want to work with him and they agree on it, that's backstage politics. That's my evidence that Billy Gunn was sabotaged in 1999.
Well, I'm the other side of it. I don't think that The Rock or Austin or Triple H or Mick Foley or The Undertaker were scared of Billy Gunn. All Billy Gunn had going for him was he was good in the ring. And The Rock, Steve Austin.
Well, he was better looking than those guys, too.
Triple H, good looking. Rock's really good looking. But those three guys for sure. And even like Foley, I think Foley is an underrated worker. I don't think they're scared of his in-ring ability. And they damn sure weren't scared of his promo ability. So you mentioned The Rock and Austin were given a chance and to get into the main event scene, and it worked out. Well, it worked out because Austin wins King of the Ring. They stick a mic in his face. Cuts probably the most famous promo of all time. Rock joins Nation of Domination with an awesome promo about the Die Rocky Die chance. Billy Gunn wins King of the Ring, comes out the next night, they stick a mic in his face, and he cut one of the stupidest promos I ever heard in my life. It wasn't. It was just. It didn't make any sense. I don't know if that was the writing or him, but it wasn't good. So right there, he dropped the ball. But my theory on this Billy Gunn experiment, it was the bad booking. So he wins King of the Ring at the pay-per-view, no celebration. There's nothing for him. There's not a crown. There's not a cape. They don't interview him then. Like I said, the next night, cuts a bad promo. Then, right at the end of the promo, Triple H in China comes out. Triple H starts talking about royalty checks and the intellectual property of DX, which I'm 12 years old at this time. I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't even know what any of those words mean. But he's telling Billy, like, hey, have you got your royalty check? And Billy's like, yeah, I got it. And he goes, well, it's short. So right there, you're showing Billy stupid because he don't notice his royalty checks are short. And Triple H is like, Road Dogg and X-Pac got the rights to the DX name. I want it back. I want all this money, but it's not important enough for me to worry about. So you take your lackey ass out here and you go fight those guys and you get me that money. So right there, he's a lackey and he's dumb right off the bat. That's the night after he won King of the Ring they do this. Then The Rock comes out, knocks out Billy Gunn, and then brawls with Triple H. And then later in the night, Billy Gunn comes to get his revenge back on The Rock, but he gets it with a club. He's got to hit him with a stick. The Rock knocked him out with his bare fist, and Billy needs a 2x4 like Hacksaw Jim Duggan to get his revenge. So right there, he's weaker than The Rock. They have him do this DX thing with the rights to DX. He's the king of the ring. He's trying to get this Mr. Ass gimmick over, and he's feuding with The Rock. It's too much. They threw too much stuff on him, I think. I think if they would have focused on one and not the other, like, the DX thing was stupid. They didn't need to do it at all. The Rock thing kind of broke off of the Triple H feud, which you could have done that to go from Fully Loaded into SummerSlam, like The Rock deals with Triple H at Fully Loaded, and at SummerSlam, okay, I'm dealing with Billy Gunn. But every time that he would get one up on The Rock, it was with a weapon. So you're showing that he can't beat The Rock straight up. He needs a weapon to do it. And then the promos, I mean, The Rock was cooking this dude on the mic. And that's kind of Billy Gunn's fault. He's not good at it. But also, they're just letting The Rock off the leash on this guy. I mean, he's cutting. Luckily for Billy Gunn, the famous prayer promo where he's praying to God was on Sunday Night Heat. Because if that was on Raw, I don't think that feud goes any further. But once he was like, "Dear God, it's me, Billy," and God goes, "Yes, Bob," it was over. Like, he wasn't coming back. But he kept talking about, like, Billy Gunn kept talking about ass. His ass was better than The Rock's ass. And he's like, your face is going to look worse than my ass. And then there was Poison Oak involved. Just wasn't, like, good booking. So I think it was an experiment. And they were trying to create a new star. And I don't think it worked. And the one thing that I agree with you with is The Rock didn't want to work with him. But I think it's because they took The Rock out of the title picture. And then they had him feuding with a guy about ass. So I don't think it was at Billy that The Rock didn't want to do. It was because of you're going from the title picture to this. I don't think he liked that at all.
You can't always stay in the title picture.
Right, but you go from the title picture to who's got a better looking ass, and I'm rubbing poison ivy on this guy's ass. That's a big drop. So I don't think it had anything to do with Billy. I think he just didn't like the storyline.
To the DX royalty thing about how he was Triple H's lackey.
Yeah.
They probably wanted Triple H to go after X-Pac and Road Dogg, and then Triple H backstage is like, no, I won't do that.
Well, Triple H was in the title picture. There was no point. Like, why couldn't a Billy done that on his own? Why couldn't a Billy cut the promo about being the king of the ring and then being like, I'm getting shorted on money because these guys stole DX? Why's Triple H got to come out and tell him? Because then Triple H had nothing else to do with it. He wasn't a part of it at all. So it was like, it was kind of stupid.
It gives him the feel of being the henchman. I agree. I just think maybe Triple H backstage was like, this is how we'll do it. Because he's a part of DX in a way still. And Triple H ain't going to want Billy to take the leadership.
Well, DX was like broken up at this time.
Split up.
Yeah.
But then they get back together when he gets with Steph.
Yeah, that's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Is after the King of the Ring, He's feuding with DX over the rights to DX, and he's feuding with The Rock. And then the pay-per-view after SummerSlam, him and the Road Dogg are back together. They're in the tag team title match at Unforgiven or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't even like 3 months before they got back together.
It's like they just feuded over it, and then they're right back together. So it's like it just was up and down, left and right booking. Like I don't think they had an idea where they wanted to go with him. So
I think they had the idea. It was the main event, and then The Rock, Mick Foley, Austin were like,
hey. They were like, let's see if he can get into the main event. And then he came out and he cut a terrible promo. And then they just had really bad booking. But I had 2 ideas that could have got Billy Gunn into the main event. The first one, still in 99, let him do the Mr. Ass gimmick with Mick Foley. Because he could come out and be like, my ass is better looking than your dumpy ass and all this stuff. And then I think Foley would have played well off of that. And that gives Foley and Billy Gunn something to do at SummerSlam, and then The Rock can stay in the title picture, which you get a bigger match if it's Austin, Rock, and Triple H at SummerSlam instead of Foley taking that place. And then I think Foley could have played up the promos better. But that's just for if you were one to do it at that time. But I think the ultimate time would have been in 02 or 03, because the ruthless aggression era was more about in-ring work, and that's where Billy excels. So I think if you push him in 02 or 03, that's when he probably would have got into the title picture.
With the Mr. Ass gimmick?
No, that's what it was too much. The Attitude Era was about gimmicks and promos and characters. Ruthless aggression, I think, was about the in-ring work, and I don't think he came back after an injury, I think, and he was the one Billy Gunn. Around, 02, 03, you're talking like peak Matrix era. If he's still the one Billy Gunn, which was what Neo was in Matrix
and
or
Andrew
whatever.
Tate.
Okay, Andrew Tate. And then he doesn't have to go into a Matrix gimmick, but just I think the one Billy Gunn was a cooler nickname than Mr. Ass. And then with his in-ring work, I think he could have got in, maybe not over, but into the title picture. Bob Holly got a WWE title match in 04. You put Billy Gunn in that spot, you're getting a much better match with Brock Lesnar than Bob Holly got.
All right, so we've gave the evidence in the comments.
It's Billy Gunn's fault.
Yeah, let us know. Was it politics? Was it writing? Or was it Billy Gunn's fault? And how you would have booked Billy Gunn into the main event picture.